My name is Vic. I am wearing a few hats here today, this evening. One is with CCM, part of the industry, the Contact Center Association of Malaysia, as the deputy president, and also trying to bring organizations together to be more understanding of what Malaysia can do and build the contact center industry. That's one part of the work, but my day job is at TDCX Malaysia, Transformative Digital Customer Experience, so I'm in the BPO sector today. It's nice to see Dr. Shiva and his GWFM to create a Malaysian chapter. Malaysia today deserves a very strong structure of contact centers and operations, whether it's BPO sectors or shared services or in-house is run. Welcoming GWFM into Malaysian space is a big honor. Welcoming ProHans to come into Malaysia to share best practices and knowledge and also to deliver capabilities is a big honor on behalf of CCM. And I will say that openly and thank you for being here. Today's session may have many friendly faces. I've seen so many friends come together today, those who are in operations and those who are in WFM. And I'm sure Dr. Shiva and the ProHans team will help bring networking together where we can learn from each other. What I believe in most events is we don't learn from people on the stage. We learn and talk to each other and get into the details of things. And I hope, Dr. Shiva, you are able to succeed with that. I had this honor of meeting Dr. Shiva in a nice user group in multiple different thought leadership discussions about workforce management. Because in 2003, that's where I started first, dealing with a pumpkin that was called Blue. How many of you know that? Blue pumpkin. And building the capabilities for the largest telco at that time, was the largest contact center in Malaysia with more than 1,000 people. And trying to bring capabilities and efficiency to the contact center operations. So I was called the head of resource management, implementing Blue Pumpkin. And I also truly believe people with a Blue or WFM background get to better places in the operations and contact center structure. It helped me in my career, and I believe it helped many people move up the value chain. So workforce management, understanding structure, understanding bringing efficiency while staying effective, has been a great part of this area of work. Today I'm here to share a little bit about what the industry is going through and what TDCX Malaysia, which I can deliver inside. I can't talk about other organizations in Malaysia, but I think TDCX Malaysia might be a proxy to what's happening in the industry over the last 2 to 3 years. Amazing times, isn't it? If I go back to 2003 when I started the contact center, many things would not have been possible until 2020, 2021, 2022. And those lessons of this recent 2020 to 2022 is going to shape the near future. So I'm using TDCX as a reference because that's the insights I have. I'll move to the next slide. The developments that have been taking in workplace and workforce management. Plenty. And all of you know it. I'm not going to tell you something new. But I hope whatever I share can help align us to some good discussions later today. Hypergrowth, those who are in the operations team, we doubled our team over 2 or 3 years. Sherry puts up her hands. Raj. Anybody else? Yen? Huge. Malaysian contact centers benefited the moment MCO and COVID hit us in 2020, right up to 2022. You take that window, you freeze that window, and you take pre and post pandemic. Hypergrowth is a good reference. Companies doubled up, some tripled up. Logic is on the next point. We survived and we were very well supported by a very strong infrastructure that had good BCP and 100% in terms of continuity. Resilience was strong. There are 2 things I always make fun of. Before the pandemic, we make fun of the government, we make fun of the telecommunication company. The government gave us an essential service status, offices were open throughout. That helped suddenly lift up what we were already capable of in Malaysia to become resilient and highly effective in continuity. Of course, the other big part of Malaysian contact centers, especially the BPO or shared service structure, is that we are a multilingual hub. We're very well supported by a digital economy that gives you unbelievable amount of benefits if you do not already understand it. Expat hiring, native hiring for different languages across all over APAC, digital capabilities that are very well governed and subsidized for, access to government capabilities which normal companies are not allowed to. If you're a Malaysian digital company, MSC status in the past, you're able to do a lot of things. So the BPO and shared services group, in-house contact centers, of course, capitalize on digital capabilities to automate. So the essential services at the point, I still remember, how many of you remember when MCO was declared? March 16th. Within 48 hours, we're supposed to be in control in the MCO1 control order. Nobody comes out. Those days we call it curfew. In the recent times we call it MCO. The contact centers could operate among as an essential service. It's a big thing for MDAC, MITI, the government did. You go to some organizations, the more established BPOs, you will not always see that happen. So that was good. That happened. We need to recognize the government, the telecommunication infrastructure, the BCP capabilities, and the opportunities that the global brands saw in Malaysia help elevate a huge number of operations. Today, we have more than 300,000. There's no official statistics, but from a contact center association, we're operating at more than 300,000 employment within the in-house or shared services or outsourced contact centers. And that's a huge, huge responsibility for us in the industry. We needed all this. Not all were there. Many were not believed in. And of course, as we transited, we also saw that tools and capabilities become more important. Not just in the WFM tools, but also in terms of agent monitoring and security controls that is required, especially when you transit to work from home, or there's no such thing as work from anywhere in the agent, but leaders could. Agents are in a work from home. And new rules started to apply. The tools are one, but I think the more important thing that I saw happen, especially in TDCX and largely a part of the industry, is the ability to transit, maybe out of fear, maybe out of the need, but the ability of people to move into a flexible work arrangement. Year one, you see compliance. Year two, you see creative thinking and out of control behaviors. But when, as we take control, we see that there's a new way of working shaping up. Agility, mobility, and flexibility could shift. And we still continue to see that may happen continuously. I'm looking back at the last 3 years as the emergence of such specifications and maybe moving ahead, how do we manage it? Quite honestly, I'll tell you from TDCX, we saw a lot of this discovery. But today, when we take stock, it may not all be working well. What do we do next? How do we take charge? And the most importantly, as agents all are able to be deployed, a lot of leaders didn't know how to work. We take the middle management, they were caught out. So while a lot of new emergence took shape, there are situations that we still are learning how to manage. And that continues. Facilities management. In a hyper growth, without renovations and building new buildings, how do you change this? That was another thing that happened over the last 3 years. For example, in TDCX Malaysia, only last May, June, we started to renovate. We needed another 3,000 seats, which we never had last month. Only this February we completed, bringing everybody back the opportunity to return to office. That's huge. And that means you're letting go some of your core DNAs, which BPOs believe in: secure, branded workspace, dedicated, at the same time trying to arrange this hybrid and work from office capabilities. Those are huge changes that we saw. We're still struggling and trying to land on the right spot. So facilities, people, and tools and capabilities were our biggest focus because of the good problems we had here. And we are still learning. I wouldn't say we have mastered it all, but we are continuously. I can tell you at a certain time today, some of our workspace which was built for 50 needs to be now 200. We will move them somewhere else. At the same time, bring new client logos in, new businesses in, or identify who are more mature to work at home. So the musical chair and facilities management still goes on. And I totally believe, and I speak to my colleagues in telecommunications and banking and financials, they're all adjusting. And that's, I don't know, anybody disagrees with that? Or anybody agrees that we're all adjusting and settling down to new rules? Hands up, please. Because my friends here, I thought I was out of this. Flexibility goes the next thing. And I think the investment in people and culture, leadership who are able to operate in a flexible, agile manner. At the same time, we also have to change some workforce rules that would allow to maximize the office capabilities as needed to, and at the same time apply the hybrid work models. And how does all this HR-related rules that we change for the businesses and move into our scheduling and forecasting and workforce management capabilities? And it's still a learning process, but we need to recognize that so many things have changed post-pandemic to pre-pandemic. We obviously see more e-hailing businesses. We see more food delivery businesses that focuses on lunch and dinner, for example. And you need to have split shifts. And how do you create this workforce that can give you that split shift and efficiency levels? We saw that happen because food delivery just grew and still is there. We saw e-commerce grow, slightly pulling back now, but how do we deal with these different business models that are out there and bring it back to run an operation for them in the BPO sector with the right business rules and hiring of employee terms? And that requires HR teams to be different. That requires our workforce management schedulers to be different. And we're still dealing with it. I'm not going to put the answers up here, but it's a learning process. We have hired people on split shift, and sometimes we entice them with a work from home arrangement because you don't expect somebody to come to the office, work between 10 to 2 p.m., 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., go back home and come back for 6 to 10 p.m. to the office. That's a lot of cost. And when you apply people to work from home, do we provide the office benefits, ergonomics, the dedicated space that we are demanding so much? That was a question our HR had to deal with. Internet, telecommunication, utilities, the aircon, arrangements. Clients come to us and tell us, you got to start working from home, so cut down the cost. But then we have to also make sure that the staff is well compensated to deal with what an office arrangement is now moved to the home. So these are questions that we dealt with. Some part we're dealing with jobs, but also continuously learning. Flexible work. Okay, so contact center folks in the front line, we are dictated by volumes, but there are huge support systems that is behind this operation. People in finance, HR, people in workforce management, people in CX, quality assurance, support and shared services require different range. So maybe sometimes save office space, but sometimes also to bring some level of comfort to balance work from home and work from office, so hybrid work arrangements of plenty. How do we compensate? How do we reimburse? These are questions that we have to deal with, and there has to be equity. It's very easy for an employer to say that you work from home, you are saving money, and we are saving money. But it doesn't always work in that equation. There are some transactions that need to compensate. Flexible work from hours are always something we wanted, right? You don't want to be caught in the chaos of traffic. I mean, a bit later than after 8:30 or 9, leaving home so we can get into a short run to the office or very early run. So those are also things that we work on. In TDCX, we applied 4-day compressed week, 4 days working, 3 days off. We applied split shift, and on some of the midnight hours, work from home because maybe things are not safe, maybe not everything is back to normal, especially last year was a mixed year. This year we're getting back to normal. So all these different variations put probably a lot of pressure on the HR team, put a lot of pressure in the operations side of the work from our WFM teams. And but we have to manage it because it is the reality out there. Today when a candidate comes in to an interview, the question is, you allow me to work from home? And if you're not able to be flexible, you lose a good candidate. Where's the balance is something that we all are struggling to get with. That's something we're dealing with. We do believe it's got to do with culture, the workplace, the organization, and the working methods. There's a whole combination of things that comes from the corporate HR team to the workforce management team within the operations to the leadership as well. And it's a continuous education for us. We grew from 2,900 people in February 2020 to 6,500 people December 2022. And in that gap, 2.5 years of freeze of renovations of construction work. And that helped with a lot needing to be flexible from our policies and structures, but dealing with clients, forgiving clients to deal with this situation. Today we stand here maybe a bit more confident, but the learning has been continued. It comes from the ability to apply the right workforce management rules. At the end of the day, in the front line, whether you're working from home or hybrid mode or working from office, the tools and capabilities, the workforce management was a key factor for us to make sure the real-time analysts that are supporting the workforce managers and the tools are working for us. The other thing is making sure that our systems are digitally integrated. So we use very well-known systems, we bespoke it, but a digital employee experience with more than half our workforce we expect connected to a digital system was extremely important. And that may have been happening before the pandemic, so that allowed us to benefit a little bit of people to stay connected, collaborative, community tools to keep engaged while dealing with the HRMS system that to deal with the basics of HR. And at the same time, to apply gamification to activate life a little bit more, mental growth. The workspace itself, I think in a video, many of you know, you sometimes reconstruct everything and you move people around in a musical chair format. Today we run in 5 different buildings in KL Central, and we deal with close to about 30 floors of operations, and it's always moving people around. There's always noise about why do I need to move. It's a business structure change, as our clients require different things, we need to change, whether it's a ramp down or a ramp up. And that facilities management is a silent actor in the whole system, the backstage. The true heroes to allow movement of workplace, to reconstruct, and we do believe in reconstructing workspace to develop a brand. And that's very important for us to keep it modular, secure, and branded all the time, but to be flexible is important. I did mention the security tools and controls. You working from home or hybrid. First year, everybody was compliant. Second and third year, suddenly you see certain behavior. Because agents are getting faster than the leaders of controlling or managing them. In a typical contact center is a very hierarchy-based operational structure. Controls like everybody follows the rules. But when you're far away, and then a team leader who needs to manage 12 to 15 locations, it is a different problem altogether. Tools and capabilities, your regular chat, team leader who knows how to manage from far becomes a more important tool. We continue learning on that. So beyond the workforce and the culture, we found some of the tools and capabilities in workforce management, HR systems, and workspace planning and managing. And that are some of the things that I bring back on TDCX into this forum here, if it makes sense to you. Also, I've been in the contact center industry since 2003, just 20 years. But the last 3 years was completely different from any of parts of the years before. And I believe today we can help we talk to each other with them. That's why I'm here. Thank you very much.